Hey guys, welcome back to the Spruce and Linen channel. I'm Janelle and today I'm going to show you how to weave this super easy plus sign overshot pattern. So let's get started. Hey! Yeah, you right there. Do you want to learn how to make this adorable woven pouch? Head over to spruceandlinen.com to check out our all new e-class. There's also a link in the description box below. In front of me, you're going to see here all the different tools and materials that we're going to be using for this pattern. You, of course, get to decide which colors that you want to use to make this pattern. This is a super easy one, but if you've never done any weaving of like twill patterns or overshot, I'm gonna put a link here for our diamond twill pattern tutorial. You can get the pattern for free by signing up for my email list at spruceandlinen.com, and then there's also a full tutorial on it, and that's gonna really give you a detailed rundown on how to read these patterns. And I will also put a link for our first overshot pattern tutorial, and that's gonna give you a rundown of that. I will briefly touch on these things, of course, in this video as well, but if you want more in depth, those are gonna be the tutorials you wanna check out first. This pattern you can grab over at spruceandlinen.com, and so you can pause this video here if you wanna go grab that. So let's quickly talk about the tools and materials we're using here. All of these tools you can actually find in my shop, which is really exciting. We have our maple and walnut tapestry needles. These are my all-time favorite, and you guys seem to love them as well, which is so exciting. We have our Spruce and Linen flat pack loom, our weaving comb. We have 3 different designs in these, as well as LDH 5-inch little scissors here. You can find these as well. I love these. They're nice and small without being, I also have some that you've seen in previous videos that are even smaller, but I like that I can put my whole hand in these ones. So these are the ones that you can find in the shop. All right, so let's get started here. First and foremost, I'll talk about the yarns and warp string that I'm using here. So for my warp string, I am using 8/8 natural cotton. You can find this in the shop as well. I decided to do that just because I just decided to. It's really personal preference when it comes to the size of warp string, but sometimes for these patterns, I do like to use a thicker warp string just so that the pattern is gonna come out a little bit more clearly. Then I have a super bulky yarn. You can use whatever you want. And then I have also going into the weft is more of this 8/8 cotton, but I have doubled it up because I just wanted it a little bit thicker. And what I like to do, just as a little tip, if you are doing anything in 2 colors, what I like to do is have my light colored yarn with my light colored needle, my dark colored yarn with my dark colored needle, because I just find it easier to grab and to be a little quicker. So you might want to give that a try. And let's jump in here now. So on my loom, I have 15 warp strings warped onto my loom. This is a pattern, if you want it symmetrical on your piece, you're going to need an odd amount of warp strings. That's generally how it's going to work with most of these patterns. So over here, I have my pattern. I've just created it here in exactly the amount of warp strings that I'm using today. When you download the PDF at spruceandlinen.com, that one's gonna be a little more expanded, and if you ever wanna make it bigger and bigger, you can just print out a few and tape them together, just line them up in a way that it continues on the pattern. I also laid it out here so that it is symmetrical from the top to the bottom as well as side to side. So we're starting sort of with a half plus sign and ending on sort of a half plus sign. It's more 2/3, but you get what I mean. So a quick reminder on how my patterns work. The dark blocks represent going over 1 warp string. So 1 block equals putting your needle over top 1 warp string. Again, check out those other tutorials I mentioned earlier if you need an extensive explanation on how this all works. What I like to do with my pattern here is I like to have another piece of paper, especially if you're newer to patterns, but I still do this all the time, is I like to have another piece of paper and just cover up all the other rows because it can get a little overwhelming. You might be glancing at more than 1 row at a time. So that's just one way to kind of keep it really simple for yourself. So just as a reminder, an overshot pattern is a row of a pattern and then a row of tabby or plain weave between each row of pattern. I will demonstrate that quickly here. Like I said, this one is super easy, so I thought it would be a fun one, and I really like this pattern. I've just started with a twining stitch here just to secure everything in and have something to kind of beat down onto. So for this first row, my black being my pattern color, we are going to follow this. So remembering that each block, one is going over one warp string. So for this first row, I'm going over 3, under 1, over 3, under 1, over 3, under 1, over 3. So you can see this pattern is a very small pattern, so it's super easy and it doesn't require like a ton of counting because you're gonna see how much it repeats itself. So now that I have my first row of the pattern in, I'm going to go in with my tabby color and I'm just going to do a plain weave or tabby row. And that's just over 1, under 1, all the way across. Now for a pattern like this and a loom like this, I'm not going to be beating down too hard or I'm gonna kind of start losing my pattern. So this is one where you wanna like beat a little less. All right, so now we can scooch up this paper, go to the second row. And as you can see, this row is actually just plain weave. We just need to make sure we're doing it in the correct order. So we're going under 1, over 1, under 1, over 1, all the way across. And then back with our tabby color here. And what I'm going to do, so I'm just gonna spread these apart so you can see. So since I came over this string in the previous row, this row I wanna come under. So we're continuing that plain weave as if there wasn't anything in between, just because if we were to go over again, we're gonna get a weird little loop right here. So I'm always gonna make sure that if I'm going over that string in the previous row, I'm going under in the next. So now we can scooch our paper up once again, and you can see already this pattern is kind of starting to repeat. The only difference between this row and this row, they are staggered, but now since they are staggered, I'm going over 1, under 1, and then back to that over 3, under 1, over 3, under 1, over 3, under 1, and then ending with that over. So you can see that every row we do is symmetrical. So we were going over the first string on the right side, and we're going over the first string on the left side as well. And then back with our tabby row. Again, looking where the previous row was, I was going under. So this time I'm going to go over. And you can see I'm always kind of moving these around. So I don't want to go under in this next row under this white string. I kind of want to switch these around. So the white one is sitting here and this row is going to lay down on top of it. So the white string is kind of going underneath the black. All right, so let's just see where we're at here. So we just did this third row. Now we're going to the fourth row, which as you can see is another plain weave row. Say that 5 times fast. So we're starting with our under 1, over 1, and then plain weave all the way across. See, and I'm being very conscious about where my warp strings are here, making sure they're staying nice and straight, but also that I am hugging the weft strings, that's the strings that are going horizontal, close enough to that warp string that it's not creating sort of like a bubble. So there's kind of a happy medium where your warp strings are sucking in a little bit, but not excessively. So now we're back to our plain weave. I was going over that last row, so I'm going under this one. And don't worry that in this case, this plain weave row I just did with this off-white yarn is actually the same as the black one. Don't even worry about that for this. We just want to keep going back and forth with our plain weave with the off-white. All right, we're going back up one more string, and now you can see we are actually right back to where we started. So we started on this over 3, under 1, and we're there again. So this pattern repeats very quickly. We are 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 rows and then it starts to repeat. So I'm gonna just keep weaving this so you can see what it looks like as it's coming together. All right, you guys, so here is that finished plus sign pattern. I think this is such a fun one. It's small and easy, so it's kind of a satisfying one to do because it is only 4 repeating rows, so you can really weave this one up really quickly. I can't wait to see you guys try out this pattern. If you use it, make sure you tag me over on Instagram at Spruce and Linen, and you can also use hashtag SL Weaving Club so I can see and share your work. If you like this video, please hit that like button, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications when I post new videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.